Hello and welcome. Most will agree that Hogwarts Legacy is a pretty damn good game. That, nevertheless, still has some flaws, and in this video I will try to rectify some of them as best I can. The fundamental issue I have with the game is that while the gameplay is superb, the story simply is not that compelling. My goal here is to make a few minor tweaks to the story to make it more engaging without changing it entirely. So Addict, you commented last time that my mic was not very good. Well, I got it back now. However, I have been laid low with illness, so my voice is probably a little bit funny. And the Vietnamese child slave that made this shirt didn't put Hermione in the center of it, so it looks weird. Anyway, fair warning, this will probably contain some spoilers. I, like fair few many, had the game spoiled by an angry transgender, and because unlike them, I am not a douchebag, I don't want to do that to anyone. So I'll skirt around them as best as possible, but there still may be some. You've been warned. Also, to people who have tried ruining this game for others, congratulations on undermining your movement by making it seem insufferable. But that's just my 2 cents and a topic for another day, so without further ado, let's get into what you came here for. A Harry Potter game where you create your own character sounds cool in theory, but it doesn't really work here. The character creator is pretty lackluster, and having a third-person voice protagonist makes having a totally unique, be whoever you want to be style character almost impossible. And because the game has to accommodate this custom character approach, you aren't given any real backstory, and your character doesn't have much personality. In fact, they often seem like an emotionless psychopath. Ultimately, it feels like the game is trying to be 2 different things at once, and so is failing at both. Therefore, I think it would have been smarter if they approached it like Cyberpunk, where you have a named voice protagonist with a distinct personality, but you get to choose their appearance and what kind of person they are. Approaching the game like I am, I imagine it would be too ambitious to allow you to choose your house, but since it fit the story I'm envisioning best, and it's the most popular choice, I'm gonna go with Slytherin. Your character is Leverett Liar, a returning 5th year. I really like that name. I think it's very Rowling-ish and fitting of a Slytherin. So let me know what you think down below. You start with an intro showing various moving pictures and headlines from the Daily Prophet, as your character gives a voiceover about the Goblin Rebellion, giving exposition that builds up Ranrock as a growing threat to the wizarding world. Ranrock and his loyalists have been growing in power, with sects all over Britain, and have been a constant source of grief for the Ministry. Furthermore, dark wizards have begun taking advantage of the Ministry's weakened state and have grown bolder. Once it gets to the present day, the camera zooms out from an article titled something like Ranrock's Rebellion from its inception to today, to show your character reading the paper to Ominous, as Imelda looks sullenly out the window. I envision you, Sebastian, Anne, Ominous, and Imelda as being like the marauders of Slytherin. The Terrors, ride-or-die friends who've adventured around Hogwarts for years. Imelda comments about how things seem to have been getting worse, contemptuously mentioning the poachers, and she wonders if it will affect their year at school. Ominous says he feels bad about poor Sebastian and Anne and wonders how they've been getting on in Feldcroft. You say that you're about to find out, as you're almost at the school. That triggers the camera to fly out the window, pan over the train, the station, and then Hogwarts in the title. Then it goes back to you, Ominous and Imelda, coming out of the train to see Sebastian and Anne waiting for you on the platform. Anne runs forward and envelops you in a hug, while Sebastian embraces Ominous and then Imelda. You catch up and laugh about past adventures, and they fill you all in on the state of the school and brief you on your first week, talking about Professor Black, Weasley, the poachers and goblins all around Hogwarts Valley, and the rest of the group makes references to past misadventures and how things might be different this year as the tense atmosphere makes the professor stricter, venturing beyond the castle more risky. Sebastian and Ominous are inseparable best friends, Sebastian being the driving personality of the group, and Ominous his level-headed, cautious foil. Imelda is the cool, aloof, tough guy who's happy to follow along and have fun when she feels like it, but is also prone to disappearing on her own adventures. Anne is like a second Sebastian, and she's your best friend, possibly more. Your place in the group is the glue, and the heart. Everyone likes and trusts you, and they often look to you to be the final decision maker. Your first few classes and quests focus mostly on your relationship with Anne as you do activities together. And here is where I want to include a few changes to the gameplay. Using Bully as a template, each class is its own minigame that utilizes the spells you learn in it. So, by attending Defense Against the Dark Arts, you and your friends will be competing in a Cross Wands type tournament. And if it's a main quest, by winning you unlock a new spell. Or if you're doing it as a side activity, you unlock a talent point to invest in upgrading a relevant spell. But you can still unlock those talent points by using those spells out in the world while you're fighting and doing dungeons and so on. Nevertheless, going to class is the quickest way, as it guarantees you'll get one. For potions, rather than a dismally simple QTE, I would have something similar to how potions are brewed in Kingdom Come Deliverance, where you have a table of ingredients and have to follow a set of instructions to brew a potion. And by attending potions, you learn new recipes, and by doing a potion once, you unlock the ability to quick brew them. The slower mini-games in class provide character-building moments as you and your companions do schoolwork and interact with the professors and other students. Many fan-favorite moments from Harry Potter are from the classes, and the game is sorely lacking in them. Your main classes have story moments, and they teach you the spells you need to beat the main quest. And the same goes for companion subplots, which will have their own special classes that teach you spells relevant to them. Ultimately, I think that would make you feel more like you're actually a student at Hogwarts. Honestly, Hogwarts Mystery does a better job making you feel like a student at Hogwarts than Hogwarts Legacy does. I hate that I like that game, but I do. It's just charming, wholesome, but it's so bad. I have mixed feelings about Sirona Ryan. People have said she feels like a token character, and I'm generally inclined to disagree. She's a side character for sure, and has no real importance to the story, yet just because she is a side character doesn't make her extraneous or diminish the diversity she brings to the game. However, given the controversy surrounding Hogwarts Legacy, however stinking of bullshit it may be, inserting a transgender character and having a side quest that basically boils down to someone saying, "She's so great and so nice and she just happens to be transgender," does make it seem like she was added in mostly as a shield to deflect criticism, and not because they truly felt compelled to create an interesting character. Therefore, I want to give her a special revision and make her more central to the plot. After the first round of classes and the time skip, you and your friends visit Hogsmeade to go to the shops and have a drink at the Hog's Head. Seeing as you're Slytherin rapscallions, it only makes sense for you to hang out at the Edgy Bar, of which Sirona is the proprietor. She quit her job as a Hogwarts caretaker when Black became headmaster because they share a mutual dislike of each other. And ever since you and your friends became the Terrors together, a name that Professor Black gave you, he's been on your backs ever since, and serves as an anti-Dumbledore. She, as a former Slytherin and troublemaker herself, sympathizes, and loves hearing stories of your misadventures and of you annoying Professor Black. She replaces Professor Fig, and she's your Dumbledore Hagrid equivalent. She shares her expansive knowledge of the castle that she gained during her tenure as caretaker, such as all the secret passages and the location of the Undercroft. She also feeds you the rumors she hears as the barkeep. You spent far longer there than you anticipated, and Sirona gives you the boot. However, on your way back, Anne notices something and pulls back from the group, dragging you along. You creep down an alley and eavesdrop on an exchange between goblins and an unknown cloaked wizard. The goblins notice you and they run away, and in the chaos, the wizard casts a curse at you. His eyes and wand are lit with a strange glow. Anne jumps in the way and is hit in the heart by a spell that racks her with agonizing seizures, each of which is marked by glowing bolts of pain that radiate from where the curse hit her, and you are the only one that can see them. Your friends and Sirona all come running and see what happened. Then it cuts to you and Sebastian in the hospital wing, where the nurse says there's nothing that can be done for Anne because she's never seen magic like this before. You explain what you saw and that you can see the pain, but Headmaster Black doesn't believe you. Sebastian is furious and says that they should track down the culprit, but the headmaster shuts him down, and he sends you back to your quarters, saying you're lucky you aren't being expelled, and he orders Anne to be sent to St. Mungo's. Back in the common room, you tell everyone what the headmaster said, and unanimously the group decides that they will hunt down the dark wizard responsible and find a cure for her. A bit later in the game, you go visit Sirona and tell her about what you've decided to do, and she becomes invaluable in your pursuit of the dark wizards by feeding you information she gains from her sketchier clientele. After a time skip, the Undercroft is introduced. Sebastian went and bought a tent in Hogsmeade and pitched it inside. This will replace the Room of Requirement as your base of operations, and as a place for you to furnish an upgrade. The Undercroft was already established as a hangout place for Sebastian and Anonymous, and the Room of Requirement is supposed to provide everything you need, so why do you have to buy or find spellcrafts for it? This, I feel, makes much more sense. So, the tent is where you build up your lounge and research center, where you can escape prying eyes and search for a cure. After this, the game becomes more open. You're free to pursue side quests, activities, and main quests. Sebastian's main story stays mostly the same as he searches for a cure, but it melds seamlessly with Ominous, who replaces Natsai in pursuing dark wizards. He has just as valid a reason to want to dislike and want to stop them as she did, and his connection with Anne, Sebastian, and you as a friend gives you more of a personal incentive to help join him in his crusade, and for him to trust you to help him with him. Imelda would replace Poppy. I think that given her distant, somewhat antagonistic personality, she should have a softness for animals to make her more endearing and deep. She prefers them to people, and there is irony in the contrast between her compassion for them and her apathy to human suffering. Her love of flying could provide an explanation to how she befriended Highwing. Also, she could take on Poppy's origin of having come from a family of poachers. She could be the one to give you the knapsack and add a vivarium expansion to the tent. That would also provide an explanation as to why the protagonists act so poachery in their effort to rescue creatures. As school goes on, your group takes on dark wizards. In doing so, you hear more about ancient magic. Sebastian searches the archives and uncovers references to ancient magic and the keepers of Hogwarts. So you go looking for them together, and you discover the trials. And in doing so, they learn of Leverett's ability to see and wield ancient magic. The keepers part of the plot is basically the same, however they give more explanation to ancient magic, and it works a bit differently. Ancient magic, as I envision it, is a raw, undiluted magical energy that is integrally tied to emotion. Essentially, this goes to say part of what makes a wizard is that their emotions are magical. Regular magic is derived from that core of ancient magic within each wizard. However, most wizards can only use it directly when feeling an incredibly strong emotion, and therefore it's more instinctual than deliberate. Hence how Lily protected Harry with it. However, people like Leverett, Percival, and Isadora can wield it directly with ease and use it to supercharge their magic. When Isadora drew emotion from people, she was also pulling their ancient magic out with it, and that's the power stored in the repositories. Because of how cryptic the keepers are in their explanations of ancient magic, their history, and the trials, your friends help you unravel their riddles and prepare for the trials. Sebastian would help you on your adventures, like battling goblins and dark wizards, or simply breaking into the restriction section. Ominous, as the cleverest of the bunch, would help you solve puzzles, brew special potions you aren't skilled enough to, and other Hermione-like things. I'd love a scene of you and your friends sitting in the library poring over books to help you prepare for something like Sanbakar's trial. Just like how the trio tried to figure out what the Sorcerer's Stone was and to prepare Harry during the Triwizard Tournament. You're there late at night, sequestered away in a corner. Imelda is looking boredly out of a window with a Quidditch book in front of her as Ominous is dragging his wand along the page like he's reading Braille. And you and Sebastian are nose deep into research. Then you get to talking and you formulate a plan for the trial. Ominous decoded the riddle, so you know it involves certain dangers and some manner of potion to activate the trial. Now you need to learn what will protect you from those dangers and what potion is required. This will lead to quests to help you fulfill the requirements, and attending potions class to learn a potion that will turn out to be useful in the trial, and to steal the ingredients to make the special potion. As for Imelda's contribution to the group, she isn't academically inclined and would rather bow out until you need someone to help you blast stuff. She's basically your auxiliary tough guy. But as a beast lover, she would help you prepare to take on and tame the Lord of the Shore, and she would do most of the directing of the beast-related parts of the game. Whether you beat the Lord of the Shore into submission, as your psychotic character does in the real game, or if you do a complex Newt Scamander-like series of graphorn movements and noises to convey that you are a friend, depends on if you choose to be good or evil, and will shape both your honor and your friendship with Imelda. To add role-playing into the game, I would incorporate a Red Dead Redemption-style honor system. Throughout the story, how you handle quests, treat your friends, and the magic you use determine if you qualify as a dark or light wizard, and those actions shape how your friends and other NPCs treat you. This would make the game livelier and add replay value. Halfway through the game, you, your friends, and Serona finally track down and face off against Rookwood, another ancient magic leader. You attack his camp, and while your friends take on its gang, You and Sirona enter his lavishly furnished tent and go up against him in a boss fight. He almost immediately uses his ancient magic curse to painfully kill Sirona, who has been your friend and crucial ally thus far, and this makes the battle even more emotionally charged. During the button mashing segments, he taunts you about what he did to Anne, revealing he used an ancient magic curse akin to Crucio on her. After he's defeated, you're given the option of what to do with him. Sebastian wants him to pay with his life, Ominous wants him to face lawful justice, and Imelda takes the more pragmatic stance, saying he should be kept alive so you can get information from him, and that he can be killed later if you want to. Ultimately, you still end up in the same place at the end, but your choice will affect how your friends look at you, and word will spread around school too. Just like how the school had opinions on Harry, the school should learn about your special powers, which gives you a minor celebrity status that makes you even more of a target for Black. And they should have opinions on your adventures too. As you walk around the halls, students that you don't even know should say stuff like, "That's Leverett Liar, the one who finally put down Rookwood. Thanks to him, Mums finally stopped fretting about me going into the village." Or, "I hear he and his friends have Rookwood locked up somewhere in the castle. I don't pity him by any means, but by the sounds of it, they aren't much better than his lot was." By this point, you and your friends are committed to more than just finding a cure for Anne, and are fully invested in uncovering the secrets of the ancient magic and in fighting Ranrock. You've learned that the repositories that store ancient magic were made by goblins, and figured out that the goblins are hoping to claim the ancient magic and use it in weapons against the wizards, since they have the ability to not just contain it, but to imbue it into their crafts as well. That's why they partnered with Rookwood instead of taking him hostage, because they needed him to willingly use his magic in order to work it into their crafts, like dragon collars, troll armor, and so on. Because the magic is so emotional, they can use it to control the emotions of creatures and therefore enslave them. The late game abilities and spells you unlock are centered on ancient magic. You can keep using your innate magic to reinforce your regular magic, as you've been doing, or you can pull from repositories to make your ancient magic abilities even more powerful. Most notably, you can learn new ancient dark arts that involve manipulating emotions, like the spell that cursed Anne. As I said, it's like Crucio, but on top of physical pain, it makes the victim feel crushing bouts of fear. I call it the Dementor's Curse, or Mortifica, something like that, I don't know. Unlike a regular spell such as the Cheering Charm, ancient magic spells cut straight to your very core and influence the heart of your emotions and magic, meaning they are incredibly potent. Like the Unforgivable Curses, ancient magic spells require you to mean them, and there's no counter curse or blocking them, meaning ancient magic is exceptionally powerful, and if you gain the power of multiple wizards, you would be nigh unstoppable. And this is why the Keepers feared Isidora's discovery, and how you choose to use this ancient magic shapes the ending you get. If you choose a totally light path, you only use your base ancient magic abilities, becoming another Keeper and protecting the repository. If you choose the gray path, you do open the repository, but to use the power for good. And if you choose the dark path, you open it purely to increase your own power. I think it's a good way of truly tempting the player. So the morality system requires you to show genuine restraint, and choosing to use dark arts has actual consequences. Regardless of what you choose, you still defeat Ranrock and save the school from being destroyed. The differences to the endings are in the consequences of how you accomplish this, and the morality system affects how your friends and the school see you. If you choose the totally light path, you can't perform the ancient spell required to heal Anne, which means she and Sebastian feel betrayed. He outright hates you, and while she understands your choice, she can't help but have wanted you to save her, and is too hurt to be around you anymore. While Imelda doesn't reject you entirely, she still thinks that you're a selfish dick and distances herself from you. Only Ominous sticks with you, as much as he regrets that Anne can't be saved, and he mourns the loss of his friendships with them. He admires your restraint, sacrifice, and determination to abstain from dark and dangerous magic. The school and professors all hail you as a selfless hero, unaware of the personal cost, and you end the game sad, lonely, and harrowed by your experiences, unsure if doing the right thing was the right choice. Now, if you haven't picked up on it yet, due to the significance emotion plays to the plot, I want one of the core themes of this game to be about trauma, and how no matter what you do, in some way, your life is just gonna break you down and hurt you. Yeah, we all have our own struggles, like me and that loud, annoying dog. I view the gray path as the canon ending, both because I think it's most fitting for the characters and because it best suits how I think most players have been approaching this game. You heal Anne, and your friend group stays together. And while many of the professors have mixed feelings and trepidations, the school still sees you as a bit of a hero. It also shows how you are an ambitious Slytherin, looking for power, status, and that you're willing to use dirty tricks to get it. Also, you get to play the epilogue portion of the story with all your friends and with hella OP magic. Nevertheless, you've all been changed by your ordeal, and you don't know if things will ever be the same. And now that you have this unknown, potentially dangerous magic at your hands, everyone feels a little bit uneasy about what the future holds. If you go down the holy dark path, you heal Anne, but she believes you've gone too far and she still leaves you, as does Ominous, who says you've become a monster. Sebastian, however, thinks you're entirely justified, and Imelda only objects if you're cruel to beasts. The professors are wary of you, most openly disliking you, and the school seems somewhat afraid of you. While you did act to save the school and the wizarding world at large, you clearly were only doing it for yourself, and show all the hallmarks of a dark wizard. And this leaves everyone feeling like, while they just defeated one threat, there's another one looming on the horizon. So, over the course of the game, you can rein in Sebastian's darker impulses and save him from himself, or you could feed them and drive him down a path of destruction that dooms himself and destroys his family. You could help Ominous deal with his demons and give him the dependable friend he needs, or you can manipulate and abuse him, traumatizing him further. You could help Imelda redeem herself from her cruel upbringing and past, or you could push her away by being what she had sworn to always oppose. And you can either be Anne's savior, or destroy all she once held dear. The epilogue gives you the option of finishing up all the remaining side quests, open world activities, and classes you have left, so by your OWLs, you and your friend should have fully wiped Hogwarts Valley clean of dark wizards, goblin rebels, and poachers, and have effectively 100% of the game. And then you're presented with a grade. After this, you attend the end-of-term feast, where Professor Black gives a speech that serves as a recap of your playthrough and the choices you've made. And that, my friends, concludes my rewrite of Hogwarts Legacy. Let me know what you thought and what you would do differently in your ideal version of the game. I kind of like the sound of a mostly linear Mafia-style game, but then that has an open world thing kind of similar to the Discovery Tour from the latest Assassin's Creed games, that let you go around and just explore the world without trouble, and you could do guided tours with like lore and stuff. That would be awesome. But anyway, like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you enjoy my other stuff as well, and I hope to see you all next time. Terminus Spectaculum.